welcome to BSSB, where tonight we got a little pre-fight interview with David Baby Hulk Wilson, who's going to be in the 125-pound main event this weekend, and we're going to sit down and talk to him and see what he's got to say before the fight here. So light up, one up, relax, and enjoy the interview. So, professional record, 4-2, I believe.
Yes, sir.
On a 3-fight win streak.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're coming into Akron. We'll just say Akron, Ohio, Cuyahoga Falls area. Up to, where the fuck is the name of the place again? It's the Northfield?
Where we find that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Cleveland. I think right outside of Cleveland.
The Neo Sports Plant.
Neo Sports Plant, all right. Fighting in the 125 main event, like I said. Going against Alex
Poinar.
Poinar, who is a local guy, actually. I believe he's from the area that we're at right now. And you're representing the North Carolina, right?
Yeah, North Carolina, Wilmington, Port City MMA in the building.
Hell yeah. All right, so going into this fight here, when'd you, how far out you start your training camp? Are you like 8 weeks?
Bro, Here tell you, man, I don't really have a fight camp. I live this fight shit. I'm day in, day out. It's always fight time for me. So when they kind of offer me something, I'm always ready to go.
You're basically always in camp, and you're that guy that can call, hey, we're on a 2-week notice, and you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Just for a little thing, before I had my boxing fight, we had an MMA match 2.5, 3 weeks before that, and then we did our boxing match. So I'm a guy that likes to stay active.
Nice. Now, I've watched a few of your fights, and you're a pretty heavy stand-up, but you got a wrestling background kind of that you grew up with high school and then going and wrestling in college. So it's a good thing to fall back on in the ring there if your stand-up kind of isn't working. You got a pretty solid wrestling background to be able to take guys down and control them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my base, and honestly, bro, that's what I love. I'm a grappler at heart, but these people like to see stand up. They like to see people throw hands. They like to see people get beat up. So if nothing else, I'm a crowd pleaser. I'm a people person. I do it for them.
One of your fights, and it was oh man, this dude's trying to throw that Chuck Liddell right hand. I seen you waiting. This dude was waiting up power mode, it was powering back here. You're waiting to get that off a few times.
Yeah,
I liked it.
One of my fights right before we started, he's like, I've never seen Baby Hulk's fight, but I heard he throws power. I heard he throws bombs. I'm I gotta live up to the name.
There you go. So in those two losses, what do you think the biggest thing that you learned out of those either one of those losses? What's the biggest thing that you took with you from that to improve yourself in the fight game?
Oh, bro, those losses were such blessings, such lessons. Everybody says a loss is a lesson. The first one, my very first pro fight. Shout out to the guy Shamel Finley, great pro fighter, very experienced now. But bro, that was my first fight in front of a huge crowd for money, and it was kind of just going out there winging it. So I got with a really experienced guy, and he showed me there's levels to it. So that really kind of made me take back, restructure how I'm doing everything. And then the last one after that, again, a great young fighter, Ryan Acasio. I think he's doing really well right now too. But my brother, I tell you, it was some weight cuts, some weight issues with that I didn't step in at my best, at my healthiest. But it is what it is. I still went 3 hard rounds with the guy. I was very proud of myself that I didn't give up on myself. If you watch the fight, I was dead to rights in a choke, but he really had me a couple times. I'm yo, F that. I'm not giving up. I didn't come here to quit on myself. And that just shows by whether I'm at my best or my worst, I'm never going to quit on myself in there.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Gotcha.
How many times have you only gone 3 rounds max? Have you gone a 5-round fight yet? A 5-minute rounds?
So not 5 fouls, but I've only been to the decision twice, whether I won or lost. Okay. Usually it's ending before 15 minutes is over.
I've kind of noticed that with the fights we've watched.
Yeah.
So
my spidey senses are tingling, and I want to know the prediction of the fight, because my senses are telling me is that it's gonna be another knockout. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're predicting?
Honestly, man, whether this guy wants to get beat on or if I choke him out or whatever, bro,
in his own town.
Yeah, I mean, bro, shout out to him. I'm glad I could kind of. I'm not saying I gave him this platform, but this is a main event. I haven't seen this guy back here in a while. So, but the prediction, violence. I'm gonna pit it on him early, and whether it's the first or the second, we getting this guy out of there.
Nice.
Because I can't breathe.
Yeah, you're good. Take that off. Yeah. Go to the mic a little more too. If you can.
I was trying so hard not to breathe loud.
I told you what's he like?
I was like, dude, it felt like someone was suffocating.
I thought he was whispering to me.
No, I went to say something. I was gonna say something, but all right.
You got any more Spidey sense questions over there?
No, just the sense
You just need
of
to
air.
breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I went to go take a drink, and I fucking caught myself. I just went.
Spider-Man doesn't drink.
Spider-Man couldn't drink.
All right, so you went to college to do wrestling. What got you into fighting was for some people that don't know, I originally know you from Street Beefs is when I first seen you. Was there anything before that? What got you into that out of college and not, just go get the job and just do your other thing?
Well, that's a great question. Dude, when I got into college, I literally only went to wrestle. Like, it was like, does this place have wrestling? Check. And then, I found a really great school to wrestle at. And when I was there, I didn't do that I knew what I was capable of. Because as it slowly started to come, you start to get a rhythm with stuff. Stuff starts to become normal. And I was very close, or I was the starter at one point. But I felt like, hey, man, I could get down to the next weight. I could really, give this thing a chance. Because the guys that they, recruited from, they was guys in my from my town that I beat. So I bro, if you're here on scholarship and they want you, but I know I could make it. But, things didn't work out like that, and I wasn't ready to stop competing. A lot of people don't even get to compete at the college level, and I was like, bro, I'm not done. And I started jiu-jitsu. After that, jiu-jitsu school was in our local wrestling academy. So it's 2 and 2, and then I met my head coach, John Salter, and then 1 and 1, it just kind of mixed. And the whole Street Beast thing, bro, I was trying to get an amateur fight forever. And if you guys don't know, amateur fights are a little hard to come by because you got to find a promotion, you got to get the testing, and because it's amateur, nobody's getting paid. A lot of guys are just, fall out, hey, I'm done type thing. Yep. So it was so hard for me to get an amateur fight. Smoking in the garage with my boy, chilling one session, and he's watching Street Beefs. And I'm like, bro, this is the craziest shit. Bro, these guys are nuts. And my friend, I thought he was joking, but he was serious. He's like, would you ever do it? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm like, would you? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, they got competition 3 weeks. And I'm like, I was already training, of course, but I really ramped it up, bro. Drove 6 hours. Fucking Virginia, first one, and those are in the history, and I'm really happy for that because my whole career now is on camera, whether it's from me or from just Street Beef. So if anybody wants to see where I came from, bro, it's not that long. It's not even 5 years yet, so you can really take a look at my whole career pretty fast.
Shit. Is there any MMA fighters or boxers or anybody that was an inspiration or maybe that you watched when you were in high school and college? Did you always watch UFC or Pride or any other of these organizations while you were growing up as well and not in MMA? Yeah,
so it started off first a lot of kids, karate movies, action movies like Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. I love that. But, growing up, kids naturally gravitate towards those guys are fighting. So before it was UFC, but it was really WEC.
Okay.
And before anything, my brother was really deep into it, very knowledgeable. So he kind of, escorted me into it. And then the more I just started learning about it, you find your fan favorites, your characters. So I was big into Ben Henderson. I was big into Anthony Pettis. Nice, I think that's when Jose Aldo was just coming around. And then, of course, you had the Tough Boom, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, and then it just exploded. And because I was a young man and, that demographic was hitting everybody, I loved it. And a small part of me was I just like watching it. But as I got more familiar with it and I realized when I got into sport, I had an IQ for it, I'm like, 1 and 1 just makes 2. It just makes sense to do it.
Nice. For sure. Hell yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing you fight Saturday. So, yeah. Look out for Saturday, July, 13th?
Yes, sir.
13th, main event, 125 pounds. Look him up. David Baby Hawk Wilson. Mm-hmm. Here we go.